Sometimes boxing, when you mention the word boxing to people that aren't really involved with the sport, they kind of shy away a little bit because they think, well, that's a mean, cruel thing to do, is put young kids in there beating up on each other. But if they come in to see what it does for young people, they would want to support it. And the coaches spend so much time in here, they become their mentors, they become father figures, and some kids come in here that are bullied, don't have very much self-esteem or self-confidence, and it's a good way to build them up. That's what this program is really for.
Don Fulmer was born February 21st, 1939 in West Jordan, Utah. He has won 31 of his 43 bouts with 10 losses and 2 draws. Don Fulmer.
My name's Larry Fulmer. I'm the oldest son of Don Fulmer. See, I don't know how I got into this, other than I have the wrong last name, basically, is my problem. When I was born, my dad, Don, he turned professional the same year I was born. So I grew up with my dad's career. He fought professionally for 17 years, actually. I watched my dad and uncles every night going to the gym, to all these little gyms that we've talked about, starting at the chicken coop. Then when they got kicked out of the chicken coop, they got a building at the Riverton City Hall. We went to West Jordan into an old church, put up a gym there until they were going to tear that down, and then the city put us in the sugar factory. They put us in the old fire station for quite a few years. And then county let us use the old Sheriff's Posse building over here by the equestrian park, and that's where we've been for the last 14 years.
When he came home and he would tell me about they have to move from one gym to another, he was just glad that he was doing all this with his brothers. It was the best thing ever to be with his brothers. He really loved that part of his life.
April 20th, 1960, Gene Fulmer defends his world middleweight title against challenger Joey Giardello. Fulmer is butting in there, and the referee warns him. The action continues with Joey going...
When and how did you meet Gene Fulmer?
That's kind of a long explanation. I had lived in Brigham City and then St. George. And Gene and his brothers were coming down to referee fights. Jay Entz, a developer, he'd say, "Hey, you're single." He says, "I've got somebody to fix you up with." And I go, "Nope, don't do that." He says, "Yes, it's with Gene Fulmer." And I said, "Who's that?" Gene walks up to me and he says, "Well, you're not bad looking for a girl." And I go, "Is that supposed to be a compliment?" And he said, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, he's so strange."
What was he like? He was like a renegade. Don and Jay and Gene, they were very close, and Don and Gene sparred together, and they got along really well. They've always been close. Oh, I've known him forever. We got married when we were 17, and we went to Nevada and got married, and our parents didn't know. And when we come home, he went to his house and I went to my house, and nobody knew that we were married. When you find out you're gonna have a baby, then you decide you better tell somebody. Well, we both were still in school, but he was captain of the football team, and we decided to go early that morning so we wouldn't miss football practice and come back, and then we just kept it a secret, and that was My kids think that's really clever. And I said, "Man, people just shouldn't do that," but we did, so. Don was always a loving person. He always had to love you. Always got his arm around you and kissing you. And I was doing dishes at the sink, and he came up behind me, put his hands where they shouldn't have been. And I said, "Don, don't do that. Look at the kids around here." And he did it anyway, and I had a cast iron frying pan I was washing, and I went like this and knocked him out. And he fell right to the floor. He was bleeding. I started crying. I thought, oh, I killed him. He said, "Well, stop bawling and help me up." That's the only time he got knocked out was by me.
That battering around the body is bound to take a toll of Fulmer. However, we feel that Fulmer has built up an early lead.
And we know that all three of them would say, "You what? You're doing what? How much?" They didn't care where they were training, just so they could do it.
Oh, he would love it. I think he just wouldn't be able to imagine what it looks like. They would just love this, all three of them.
You know, I just felt the spirit of my dad and my uncles. I'm not sure that they would have done this, and I'm not sure that I think they think we're crazy for doing this, but I think they'll be proud of it. When you see the young kids come in here, especially when they were working out at that little tiny place across the park there, and the first time they come in here to start working out and to see the excitement on their faces, it was just amazing. I stood up there the first day that I came when the gym was open, and I could see kids sparring in the ring. I saw kids under here punching the bags. I saw them skipping the rope, and I just kind of sat back and I thought it's a pretty amazing thing. But I'd just like to be involved with seeing kids do better.